Welcome to EducAIted Voices, an interview series dedicated to K12 educators and their work navigating the arrival of AI. I'm Emma Ludwick.
And I'm Bailey Ubellacker. Our goal is to explore the question, how do we prepare children in a world that is fundamentally shifting? To answer that, we're looking outside the classroom to those leading, researching, and working on the edge of innovation.
Our guest today is an AI pioneer who has quite literally taught the world how AI works. Dr. Andrew Ng is a founder of DeepLearning.AI, a leader at AI Fund, and a co-founder of Coursera. He's also an adjunct professor at Stanford and was the founding lead of Google Brain. He is truly a luminary in the field.
Andrew describes AI as the new electricity, a transformative force that will soon power every industry on the planet. But more than a technologist, Andrew is an educator at heart. He has mentored millions of learners, and today he's here to help us understand what it means to be AI literate in a world where the rules, they're being rewritten.
We're honored to have Andrew join us today to bridge the gap between computer science and the K12 classroom.
Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to learn with and from you to share with our K12 educators who are really trying to navigate AI for the students and for the possibility of tomorrow.
No, thanks for having me. I think K12 educators are some of the most important, sometimes unsung heroes and heroines of society. So thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much. So to start us off, for a K12 educator who is new to this subject, given your deep expertise in generative AI, where would you suggest they start?
One of the challenges I see in the whole K12 system is under-resourced relative to a lot of other parts of society to figure out where we're going with AI. So I spent a lot of time talking to large businesses, to universities, and even the well-resourced businesses feel like they're behind and struggling to catch up. And so when I speak of leaders in the K12 system with far less resources compared to these businesses, I see the struggle to figure out what's going on and keep with the times. Having said that, the good news is AI technology available on the internet is actually accessible relatively inexpensively. And I think that when teachers start to experiment with AI models, be it ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or others, and start to use them, it can already help with the day-to-day work of teaching. But then the other harder piece I think is really important is helping our students navigate, frankly, not to the jobs of today, but the jobs of the future.
Yes. Yeah.
And this means helping them grow up into a future where they will be assisted by AI. Putting in place a computer science program to teach kids to code, I think those programs will be important.
Yes, absolutely. What is it about coding that a student gains or will take with them into the future?
One of the most important skills of the future is the ability to tell a computer exactly what you want, so computer can do it for you. And for the foreseeable future, the language of computing is coding. So what I'm seeing already is that for a lot of job roles, people that know how to code, be it a marketer or sales rep or HR professional or finance analyst, they could do more than someone in a similar job role, but that does not know how to code. And I think even teachers, I was speaking through one of our teams, Kira Learning, which does a lot of work in K12, speaking with one of the teachers that is a basketball coach and teacher. And because he had learned to code, he was writing data analyses to help his students visualize their basketball outcomes. So he was a better teacher because he could code. And so we're a little bit of time to help people to transition. But I think in the future, maybe nearer than people think, but we do a lot of time, when you code, I think you could be a better teacher as well. And the trick is, of course, you don't have to do all the coding yourself. You get AI to code for you. Oh, so one quick example. One evening, my daughter, she wanted to practice multiplication tables. And so I had to make a choice. I could either drive out to a store to buy a bunch of multiplication flashcards, or I could use AI to write a simple program for me to print out the flashcards.
Yeah.
And so, I did the latter. Took me an hour. Then my daughter spent time practicing, and so I, even as a parent, am able to better engage my own kids, because when there's a specific task and get the computer to do it And I think it'll be very true for a lot of teachers as well.
I really appreciate you sharing that. And as an elementary school math teacher, I have come across that same thing and being able to use that coding to create a multiplication. Funny, it was the same thing as well for the students. And then I actually had them give me feedback so that we could make that better and share it back with them. So just one of those ways that they got more agency out of it as well, because they were developing the tool to help their own brain learn and grasp these concepts.
Can I ask you, as a parent raising your own children, what kinds of educational experiences or life experiences are you really planning for your own children, or that you really want to make sure your own children have?
I honestly wish I knew. I think some things are becoming clearer. So when I look at K12 also through college, our children and even us ourselves, we will live in a world where AI can help us. So this means that information search and discovery, that will be, AI models. And then it turns out, maybe looking to an early era of technology evolution, with the rise of the internet, Google won the horizontal information discovery layer. Then there were verticals, like there was, travel, retail, transportation, and so on, where different businesses fought it out. I think the new value landscape is still emerging for this wave of AI, but the horizontal information discovery, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on, that's becoming clear. The one vertical that's becoming clear is coding. And I think everyone, getting AI to code for you would be more productive. The other verticals, what's the future of marketing? What's the future of sales? Those are not yet clear, but I think that horizontal information discovery, question answering, companion, kind of assistant, as well as write code, that's becoming clearer, but the other disciplines is still coming to focus.
So having K12 educators really think about the skill of coding and breaking that down into kind of the step-by-steps that students at each grade and level could use and practice as a way of thinking for the future and preparing for the future.
Yeah, and there's actually one funny result from the AI world, which is, it turns out that if you train the AI model to code, it actually gets better at other tasks as well. And so, we can hypothesize why, but coding is so much logical thinking processes. I suspect that when AI learns to code, it becomes more logical instruction, other things. Part of me thinks it may be true for people as well.
I think
positive byproducts.
We would agree. I think that's same. The more we engage with children, the more we teach them to think, we see gains in a wide array of places.
Yeah. So, and I know that, there were people, including senior leaders, who are advising others not to learn the code on the grounds AI will automate it. We'll look back on that as some of the worst career advice given. And what I'm seeing at, say, the college applications already, not that life is about college, but I know it's one important thing. I see a lot of high school students that learn to code and they can just create more. And so to me, I often think about how do we empower children to create and to give them the foundational building blocks. You need the hard skills and the soft skills. And I'll just share one more thing. I think for strange reasons, there's a lot of hype and fear about AI. Maybe two things. I think around 2023, ironically, right as AI was taking over the United States, some companies ran PR campaigns to say AI is dangerous, it can even lead to human extinction, which I think is completely ridiculous. One really unfortunate impact of that is my friends and I, we've spoken with K12 students that have said things like, heard about AI, but I don't want to work on it because it may lead to human extinction. I don't want to contribute to that. And so I see that hype as incredibly damaging because it is dissuading students, young students, from entering what could be one of the best, most transformative moves for their lives and their careers. So encouraging our students to embrace this wonderful technology and not buy into these very bizarre fear narratives, I think would be important for us as educators to do as well.
Do you have any favorite resources that you would recommend to teachers, to families, to students to rely on to inform themselves about AI and kind of steer away from the hype?
To help them do their own research, right? Because we want them to take that and understand this narrative themselves.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I wish I had better resources. So DeepLearning.AI, we're committed to empower everyone to build with AI. And we have a good record of being quite factual, I think. And then the rest of, and so much of the information ecosystem is so noisy and so polluted by marketing hype. I find that if you have just a little bit of technical understanding of how it works, it makes it easier to sort through some of the noise. It's worth, just like today, everyone's kind of got to learn to use email. I can't imagine. I wouldn't want my kids to grow up and not learn how to do web search or use email. And I think there's that technical understanding that is needed. Change is hard and all that, but people will need to learn this.
I would say, we started with your AI for Everyone course.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
And having that little bit of technical information really opened, I think, both of our eyes to the possibilities of what could be, and being able to see past a lot of the, hype to think about reimagine education and to reimagine what the educator's experience could be and also the student's experience could be.
And the structure itself, right? Generative AI has given us the opportunity to take a step back and see what do we need for our students? What do we hold true of child development, of learning science? And then what do we need of our future and where are we heading? And so we feel this pivotal moment. And we're really appreciative of the work that you do and that we're excited to be here at the table and to be here for and with our K12 educators. So you encourage people to build with AI to unleash innovation and a lot of what you're talking about, being able to have that coding and the skill and the building and the creativity. So what are some of the most striking educational applications of AI that you have come across?
So there are a lot of them. I don't know that there's one that completely stands head and shoulders above others. I feel like AI-oriented chatbots have been very helpful. So for example, Coursera Coach is a very effective chatbot that helps learners get to the answer by themselves rather than gives them the answer. So that pedagogical learning journey I find very helpful. And then I think that Coursera Course Builder also helps businesses or teams assemble new curricula. At Cure Learning, which is a company that I've been helping out, involved in, I know friends of the CEO Andrea Pazzanetti and Jackie Tiagerwal, the co-founders, really well, has been using AI to help generate some content to make it more efficient for the teacher actually, I think the flipped classroom model has been discussed for a long time. And I love the concept. I even do it myself sometimes in my university teaching. It's never really taken off. And I suspect that one of the reasons why the flipped classroom didn't was because of the lack of personalization. But with AI, we can now actually write software. Cure Learning has this, drives hyper-personalization where the AI can say, look at the student submission and help a teacher pinpoint this student got confused about this one line. And then frankly, if a teacher is busy juggling too many things, it can auto-suggest the teacher, hey, if you say these words to the student, you can help them get unstuck. And the teacher can do it or not, right? But you're getting really positive feedback from teachers on how it empowers them to very quickly target exactly what they need to do to unstick a certain student.
I think that's wonderful. And really looking in this space where in education, we know these best and promising practices. And with AI, we're able to actually implement them, right? Giving that individualized learning, the one-on-one, the coaching, and even coaching the teacher in the moment when they're working with the student. I think that's just wonderful. I really appreciate you sharing that.
And there's one thing I'm excited about. Part of me wonders, if we've seen this through some of Cure Learning's users, is one of the most important roles for a teacher is a social emotional support. Another important role is the content delivery. But it turns out that when AI or digital media can take over more of the content delivery, the teacher can spend much more time in SES, and that is incredibly valuable.
We're really excited for teachers to get the opportunity to really become human development experts and learning experts, right? And to be able to kind of make a lot of the invisible work that they do visible, because they can give so much over to AI to support assessment, to support planning, to give them that time back to really be able to do some incredible teaching.
Yeah, and I would say it turns out, despite hype about AGI, artificial general intelligence, or whatever, for the foreseeable future, there's a ton of stuff that teachers do that I don't see AI able to do, and so giving teachers that time to create a more child-centered experience.
Yes.
And when I look at technology, yes, we have social media feeds that are very person-centered, but it really is it's such a shallow understanding of the person. It's such a weird thing.
Right.
But that human, highly empathetic teacher with the time, that's the tough thing.
Time away from the algorithm. Yeah. Yeah. Can I ask a question? Many educators, K-12 educators, say they feel inundated right now with frameworks and tools and research and the news. Do you have any wisdom or advice to share?
One thing that I did at DeepLearning.AI in Coursera was have a course, Generative AI for Everyone, that tries to convey to non-technical individuals slightly technical application business level understanding of AI. One of the difficult things about AI is it's fundamentally a very technical subject. And so nuances about what exactly the technology can and cannot do is not some esoteric piece of technical knowledge. It is a piece of knowledge that drives very concrete decisions by teachers and others to decide, should I do this or should I do that? So I find that to navigate AI successfully, not everyone needs a PhD in computer science, but having just a little bit of that technical understanding lets you very quickly decide, is this hype? Or is this real? Is this working now? Should I wait 2 years before I deal with this? So hope that if teachers take, generative AI for everyone, that conveys that type of understanding. And then it makes it much easier to sort through the noise.
And I think doing a little plug for your AI for everyone, your masterclass, it's non-technical and supporting the educators with that baseline knowledge. And I think even taking it a step further of how can AI developers and teachers work together in this shared space, as we support our students and, like you said, the unknown of the future.
Yeah, I wish I had I think I'm excited about what Key Learning is doing in the K-12 sector. One challenge that I suspect you've seen this too, that I don't know what to do about is, I think that just from a business application perspective, there's a lot that AI could do to improve education, lots of products, hyper-personalization, contents, customer assistance. One of the biggest problems that our whole sector has is candidly a go-to-market problem because of the strange sales channels, the local dynamics, the misaligned incentives, the loss of stakeholders. And so this weird ecosystem, it makes it much tougher in K-12 ed tech to invent and to take products to market than other sectors. So I don't know how to solve that. And I find that sometimes, let's say someone has an invention that really helps students. The question is, do we set up a society where we incentivize them to keep building product? Or have we set up an alternative society where the way to win is to hire tons of lobbyists, right? And right now, I don't think the way we govern K-12 is where it should be.
Focused on that student, right? Student-centered and align with the rest.
And I see a lot of schools struggling right now with kind of picking their product, right? Because they're such big organizations that once they pick one thing, it's hard to keep changing, right? Or I've met some leaders in the educational space who have, 45 different licensed softwares for their school district. And so uniting everyone around what to use. And then if better technology comes out, 2 or 3 years later, shifting, guiding that change it's a challenge.
Yeah, but I'll share a couple of the tips I give to business leaders, but recognizing this is difficult to implement and schools may not be useful. But I say 2 things. One is in a world where technology changes quickly, one question I ask is, does it make sense to sign long-term contracts? Or does it make sense to always cap contracts at max, let's say a year, to make sure you have optionality to change depending on whatever it turns out to work better in a year from now? So that's one question. The second one, which is one of those things I feel bad, easy for me to say, very hard to implement, is it turns out if you control your own data layer, it gives you optionality. So whereas in contrast, if you have some vendor and your student data, your ERP or whatever, if it's locked up in some vendor, which very high switching costs, then you're kind of stuck. And so I see even very large, like whatever, Global 2000 businesses struggle with controlling their data. So it turns out lots of vendors will come into school or business and try to create a silo within your business to own your data, make it hard to get it out. And when I'm buying software, I buy software, you can't buy it myself. I tend to control my own data layer when I can and hire vendors, happy to pay them to operate on my data that I retain flexibility to route to whatever software I want. But many vendors will mightily resist that. And it's difficult sometimes for schools with enough resources to figure this piece out.
Yeah, but such a wonderful insight and piece of wisdom that we can think about as we work to redesign K-12 education.
I think one of the things that I keep thinking is, Emma, you share a lot, is Gen AI is the worst it's ever going to be today, right? It's continuously progressing and moving towards something that we don't know where it's going to take us, but we're here for the ride. I think this next question, and for educators who are feeling overwhelmed by all of this, and present company included here, by the speed and the change and the fear of the unknown. So what is one piece of advice you can offer to help us move away from that fear and apprehension and towards this world of curiosity and agency as we do our work?
Yeah, maybe to the educators that feel overwhelmed, just know that tons of parents really appreciate what you do. And I think, and maybe one other piece of secret, maybe in today's society, almost everyone feels overwhelmed. So many people feel overwhelmed.
Not alone.
And as behind as K-12 school systems think they are, I know Fortune 50 companies that also think they're behind. So it's okay. And I think the most important thing is to move forward. I think, I think just like we instill grit and resilience in our kids, I think that, on days that I sometimes see people feel overwhelmed and still push through. And maybe easier to say, hard to do. But
And what a wonderful thing to teach our students and our children. When we sit down together 10 years from now, what do you hope we will be talking about?
I hope you'll be saying, hi, look exactly the same from 10 years ago. One of the most expensive things in today's world is intelligence. It's very difficult to train a wise doctor or a wise teacher or a wise advisor to help people. With technology, we have a path to make some types of intelligence cheap. And what this means is that in the future, there are so many things. Today, only some of the wealthiest in the society can afford to hire that skilled personal tutor, that doctor, specialist advisor in medical condition. If we make intelligence cheap, then we can empower a lot more people to let everyone have an army of smart, well-informed staff to help them and accomplish their dreams.
I love that accessibility and just unlocking knowledge potential, for everyone. It's beautiful.
That's a really beautiful thought.
Thank you for the work that you do. We do live in a moment where I think over the next 2 to 3 years, there are a lot of opportunities for you, for any of us, to do things that no one on the planet could have done a year ago. And I feel like being thoughtful, but also willing to respectfully and responsibly push the boundaries. I feel like we need innovators that are safe and responsible, but are not waiting for permission to change the world.
I feel like that sounds like a teacher to me. That sounds like an educator, because I think that if we are intentional and strategic, great things can really happen. And I think, we always say teachers, they tend to be cautious because they take other people's children's futures, into their care, and they take that work really seriously. And so I do feel like educators provide a huge opportunity to think critically about this work and how to prepare the next generation to move into this future.
Being very respectful of, safety,
Yes.
sentiments,
Yes.
being responsible for our children.
Yeah.
Their well-being.
With that caveat,
Yeah.
I think this is a moment in time where smart, thoughtful, well-meaning, responsible people
Yes.
should be less cautious and just move. I think so long as you don't harm anyone and careful about that,
Yeah.
I think experimenting and failing, without harming anyone seems fine. And if you look at a lot of the innovations that happen in the world, I don't know, think of whoever your top inventors.
Yeah.
Did they ask for permission?
Yeah.
The world just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Being responsible is important, but waiting for permission doesn't work either because there's so much to create. And I think for a lot of teachers, either you will do that thing for your classroom or no one will, because no one's going to come and figure out that thing that you figured out with AI.
Yeah.
So long as we can be responsible, minimize the downside risk, make sure we don't do harm, trying stuff out. And then, right, I find that when teachers are thoughtful and responsible and run the experiment short term, if it fails, I think a lot of parents are very forgiving and even grateful for the innovative teachers. So I think a lot of innovation done in a safe way seems like a good thing.
What you're sharing right there. Yeah, it's empowering teachers, giving them agency, and then giving them almost that permission in a non-permission world, right? Like give yourself that permission.
Yeah. No, and I think students gain a lot, even just from that process, of watching a teacher come up with an idea, try something new.
Share the process with them, right? Like invite them in the risk-taking.
Yeah. Step out of their comfort zone.
Sometimes I think about what, kind of person I want my kids to see as their parent, as their father.
Yeah.
And I think, do we want our students in our classroom to see us as timid teachers, scared, not quite embracing the future and waiting for permission? Or do we want our students to see us as responsible people acting safely, but embracing the future, and sometimes succeeding, sometimes not, but moving forward? So which sets a better role model for our students?
Love that grit.
So thank you. Thank you so much for your insights and your wisdom. And we're so grateful.
A huge thanks to Dr. Andrew Ng for joining us today and sharing his expertise on computer science and Gen AI. We're grateful for his insights for the K12 space, and we're excited for the accessibility that AI is going to bring. The best time to start learning is now.
We're hoping you leave today inspired to dive deep into coding, demystify how these models work, and with these new skills, take a closer look at how data is managed at your schools. Don't forget to check out our website for professional development materials and the resources mentioned in this episode. We look forward to learning about the innovative work you do, with or without permission. Thanks for listening to Educated Voices.
We are honored to partner with you as we navigate the AI of today for the possibilities of tomorrow.